stood there, in the sterile cold room, the weight of the world pressing down on my shoulders. The room was filled with the hum of fluorescent lights and the distant murmur of voices, but all I could hear was the pounding of my own heart. The room was filled with the faces of people I had trusted, people I had called colleagues and friends. But in that moment, they were nothing more than a jury, ready to pass judgment on me. Dr. Amelia Hart, you are hereby dismissed from your position on the research team. Your actions have brought discredit to this institution, and your claims of unethical practices are unfounded and irresponsible. The words echoed in my mind, a cruel symphony of betrayal and rejection. I had blown the whistle on a drug trial gone wrong, a trial that had put profits over people. I had stood up for what was right, and this was my reward. I was discredited, dismissed, and left to face the scorn of the medical community. But I refused to let that define me. I refused to let them break me. I turned my back on the world that had betrayed me and set out on a new path, a path that would lead me to redemption and triumph. I turned to the one thing that had always inspired me, nature. I began to study the intricate designs and mechanisms of the natural world, seeking to apply them to the field of prosthetics. I was ridiculed, of course. The medical community scoffed at my ideas, dismissing them as quack science, but I was undeterred. I knew that I was onto something that could revolutionize the field of prosthetics and change the lives of countless people. I worked tirelessly, pouring every ounce of my being into my research. I faced countless setbacks and challenges, but I never gave up. I was driven by a fierce determination to prove myself, to show the world that I was more than just a discredited whistleblower. I was an innovator, a pioneer, and I was going to change the world. Years passed, and my hard work began to pay off. I developed a series of biomimetic prosthetics, each one inspired by the natural world and designed to mimic the functions of the human body. My prosthetics were a game changer, revolutionizing the field of rehabilitation and giving hope to people who had previously been written off as hopeless cases. But my triumph was not just about the technology. It was about the people. I saw the joy and relief in the eyes of my patients as they regained the use of their limbs, as they were able to walk, run, and live their lives to the fullest. I saw the transformation in their spirits, the renewed sense of hope and purpose. And I knew that I had made a difference, that I had truly made a difference in the world. And then, one day, I received an invitation. It was from my family, the same family that had mocked and ridiculed me for pursuing my dream. They had heard about my success and wanted to see me, to welcome me back into the fold. I was hesitant at first, remembering the pain and humiliation they had caused me. But I also remembered the joy and fulfillment I had found in my work, and I knew that I had to face them, to show them what I had become. I arrived at my childhood home, the place where it had all begun. The house was the same, but everything else had changed. I was no longer the naive, idealistic girl they had once known. I was a woman, a medical innovator, and I had achieved something truly remarkable. As I stepped into the living room, I was greeted by the familiar faces of my family. But there was something different in their eyes, a mixture of awe and regret. I could see that they were struggling to reconcile the image of the discredited whistleblower with the successful innovator standing before them. I didn't say a word. I simply handed them a small device, a prototype of one of my biomimetic prosthetics. They looked at it, their eyes wide with curiosity and disbelief. And then I did something that would change their lives forever. I activated the device, and it began to transform, mimicking the movements of a human hand. The room was filled with gasps of amazement, and I could see the realization dawning in their eyes. "This is what I've been working on," I said, my voice steady and calm. "This is the future of prosthetics, and it's all thanks to the natural world. I was ridiculed and dismissed, but I never gave up. I never let them break me. And now I've proven them wrong. I've proven that I was right all along. The room was silent, the weight of my words hanging heavy in the air. And then, one by one, my family members began to speak. They apologized, their voices choked with emotion. They told me how proud they were of me, how sorry they were for not believing in me. And I could see the sincerity in their eyes, the genuine remorse and admiration. But I knew that words were not enough. I knew that I had to show them, to prove to them that I had truly forgiven them. So I did something that would change their lives forever. I offered them a chance to be a part of my work, to help me bring my vision to the world. And they accepted, their eyes shining with gratitude and determination. And so, I returned to my childhood home. Not as a discredited whistleblower, but as a medical innovator, a pioneer, and a beacon of hope. I had faced the consequences of my past, and I had triumphed. I had proven to the world and to myself that I was more than just a dreamer. I was a doer, a creator, and I was going to change the world. As I stood there, surrounded by the people who had once mocked and ridiculed me, I knew that I had found my true purpose. I had found my calling. And I was going to make a difference in the world. And I knew that, no matter what challenges lay ahead, I would face them with courage, determination, and an unyielding belief in myself. And so I embarked on a new journey, a journey of redemption, triumph, and poetic justice. I had faced the consequences of my past, and I had emerged victorious. I had proven to the world and to myself that I was more than just a dreamer. I was a doer, a creator, and I was going to change the world. And I knew that, no matter what challenges lay ahead, I would face them with courage, determination, and an unyielding belief in myself. And I knew that, in the end, I would triumph. For I was Amelia Hart, the silent surgeon, and I was going to change the world, one biomimetic prosthetic at a time.